Welcome to the Bootstrap Mogul Podcast, where we bring you the grassroots tips, tricks, and stories in everything entrepreneurship, digital marketing, and personal development. I'm your host, Andres Holguin. Hey there, my friend. Welcome back to another jam-packed episode of the Bootstrap Mogul Podcast. I'm your host, Andres Holguin, and I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am to have you here with me today. Seriously, you taking time out of your busy schedule to tune in means the world to me. So give yourself a pat on the back for showing up for your business and for your future. Now, you're an entrepreneur, a side hustler, or maybe even a seven-figure business owner, which means you are juggling so many balls in the air at one time. We're talking marketing, product creation, client management, networking. I am just winded thinking about it. And the thing is, your time, your precious time, it's your most valuable asset. Not money, not resources, but time. Because once it's gone, you can't get it back. So that's why being productive is so crucial. You don't want to just be busy. You want to be busy doing the right things. Am I right? Now, what if I told you there's a tried and true method that can skyrocket your productivity and help you get more done in less time? What if I told you that you can manage your time like a pro, knock out tasks like you're swatting flies, and end your workday feeling like you really achieved something spectacular? Yes, my friend, it's possible. And today we're diving deep into a productivity hack that has been a game changer for many, the Pomodoro Technique. Now, I know it sounds like a fancy Italian dish, but it's actually a simple yet effective way to boost your focus and get things done. But you might be wondering, can the Pomodoro Technique really elevate my productivity, or is it just another productivity fad? Well, grab your favorite notebook, a cup of something warm, and settle in because we're unraveling the mystery behind the Pomodoro Technique today. So if you're ready to take control of your time and give your productivity a boost that it so desperately needs, then keep those ears open and that mind sharp because we're diving right in. And that's your sneak peek, my friends. Are you as excited as I am? Trust me, you won't want to miss a single minute of this episode. All right, let's get into it. So, because we're diving straight into the meat and potatoes of today's episode, what in the world is the Pomodoro Technique? And why does it sound like something you'd order at an Italian restaurant? Well, first things first, let's talk about the man behind the curtain, or in this case, the timer. The Pomodoro Technique was created by a productivity consultant named Francesco Cirillo in the late 1980s. You see, Francesco was a university student at the time, and like many of us, he struggled with time management and productivity. Now, one day he found a tomato-shaped kitchen timer and thought, what if I could work in short bursts and then take a little break? Could that make me more focused? And voila, the Pomodoro Technique was born. Fun fact, Pomodoro is actually the Italian word for tomato. I mean, how many of us have tried working on a task and then looked up at the clock only to find that hours have passed and we haven't made much progress? It's a frustrating feeling, isn't it? Well, Francesco decided to do something about it. So, here's the core concept. This technique uses what I like to call intentional intervals. You set a timer for 25 minutes. Yes, just 25 minutes, and in that time, you give your undivided attention to a single task. You zero in on it like a hawk eyeing its prey. No checking your phone, no answering emails, no going down the YouTube rabbit hole, just pure, unadulterated focus. Now, once the timer goes off, ding, 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 you take a short break, about 5 minutes. Stand up, stretch a little, grab some water, whatever makes you feel relaxed and recharged. These short breaks serve to reset your brain, giving you that, I can breathe again moment. Think about it. It's like high intensity interval training, but for your brain. You're working out your focus muscles, then resting them, then going back at it again. And just like how interval training can boost your physical stamina and muscle power, the Pomodoro Technique is designed to boost your mental stamina and focus power. Now, I can already hear some of you saying, but Andres, 25 minutes isn't enough time to get anything significant done. Trust me, I get it. When I first heard about this technique, I was skeptical too. But here's the magic. When you know you only have 25 minutes, you will be amazed at how much you can actually accomplish. Your brain shifts into this high gear mode where you're racing against the clock. And let me tell you, it is exhilarating. So to recap, Pomodoro Technique, named after an Italian tomato and founded by Francesco Cirillo. Work in focused 25-minute intervals, then take a 5-minute break. Rinse and repeat. Simple, right? But don't let its simplicity fool you. Sometimes the most simple things have the power to create the most significant shifts in our lives. All right, are you still with me? Because we're just scratching the surface. Stay tuned because up next, we're diving into the science of why this technique is so darn effective. Okay, so take a deep breath because now we're moving on to some truly juicy stuff. The science behind why the Pomodoro Technique works so darn well. Trust me, if you're a little skeptical or you're thinking, but Andres, I've tried so many productivity hacks and they just don't stick. This part is for you. I promise by the end of this segment, you're going to be a Pomodoro convert. Are you ready? Let's go. Okay. So let's get a bit scientific here, but don't worry, I will keep it fun. Have you ever heard of the term time boxing? It's a psychological concept where you allocate a fixed time period called a time box to each planned activity. In the case of Pomodoro, each time box is 25 minutes long. Now, what happens in these 25 minutes is something fascinating. When you have a limited amount of time to accomplish a task, your brain naturally dials up its focus and motivation levels. It's as if you're telling your brain, hey, we've only got 25 minutes, so let's make it count. You create this sense of urgency that propels you forward like a sprinter hearing the starting gun. Have you ever had those days when you tell yourself, okay, I have the whole day to get this done, and then suddenly it's evening and you're scrambling to complete the task? Yeah, we've all been there, and that's why this time box is like a protective bubble around your focus and motivation, keeping them safe from the distractions and procrastination that can just zap your energy. Now, let's talk about physiology, how this technique impacts your actual body. Look, as much as we like to think of ourselves as productivity machines, we're not robots. Our brains need rest. Think of your brain like a muscle. Even muscles get tired after a workout and need time to recover, right? Now, when you work for long, uninterrupted stretches, you're essentially pushing your brain into the fatigue zone. And let me tell you, the fatigue zone is not a place you want to be. It's where your stress levels rise, your energy dips, and your productivity takes a nosedive. Now, that's where the genius of the 5-minute break in the Pomodoro Technique comes into play. These short breaks are like a cool down period for your brain. They help you to reset your mental state and reduce cognitive overload. The short yet frequent breaks can reduce stress and mental fatigue, making you feel more refreshed and ready to tackle the next Pomodoro sprint. So in essence, the Pomodoro Technique isn't just good for your productivity, it's good for your well-being. It balances the scales between focused work and rest, giving you the best of both worlds. All right, so now you know the Pomodoro Technique isn't just a quirky little productivity hack. It's backed by psychological and physiological benefits that can really make a difference in how you work and live. Now, no more feeling drained at the end of a workday. And imagine leaving your desk feeling accomplished and still having energy left to enjoy your evening. That, my friends, is the Pomodoro Promise. All right, that was a lot, but don't worry because we've got even more good stuff coming up. Stick around because up next, we're going to talk about how you can start implementing the Pomodoro Technique in your daily life. Are you excited? Because I can't wait to share this with you. Okay, so I hope you've got your seatbelt fastened because now we're diving into the how-to of implementing the Pomodoro Technique into your workday. This is where the rubber meets the road, and I'm so excited for you to put this into action. So grab that notebook if you haven't already. Heck, get a highlighter too, because you're going to want to remember this. Are you ready? Let's do it. Okay, first up, let's talk about choosing the right task with the Pomodoro Technique. Now, not every task is Pomodoro friendly, and that is okay. The key here is to choose tasks that require concentrated effort and are best done in one sitting, or tasks that you can break down into smaller, manageable chunks. So let me break it down for you. Tasks that are great for Pomodoro are those that can either complete in one or a few 25-minute intervals, or tasks that you've been dreading and putting off because they seem too big and overwhelming. Now, for the latter, can you break them down into smaller subtasks and then dedicate a Pomodoro or two to each one? Does that make sense? So the criteria for selecting tasks are: 1, tasks that require focused attention and mental effort; 2, tasks that you can realistically complete or make significant progress on within a 25-minute span; and 3, tasks that you've been avoiding because they seem too daunting. Next up is setting up your workspace. Y'all, I cannot stress this enough. Your environment matters. Having a designated workspace that's free from distractions. That means no TV in the background, turn off those social media notifications, and maybe even hang a do not disturb sign if you have little ones or roommates. Make it a space that signals to your brain, okay, it is go time. Remember, you're setting yourself up for intense, focused work. The last thing you want is to be interrupted by a pinging phone or a distracting environment. Keep everything you'll need for your task within arm's reach. Papers, pens, your laptop, a cup of tea, cup of coffee, glass of wine, whatever it is, so you don't have to break your Pomodoro to get up and grab it. Now let's chat about the actual Pomodoro cycle. As we've already learned, it consists of 25 minutes of focused work followed by a 5-minute break. But how do you get started? Simple. Choose your task, set your timer for 25 minutes, and work until the timer rings. Then take a 5-minute break. That is one Pomodoro cycle. During the break, stand up, stretch, maybe do a quick walk around the room, whatever helps you reset. Now, what about longer breaks? Well, that's a good question. After completing 4 Pomodoro cycles, yes, that's right, 4, you get to take a longer break of 15 to 30 minutes. Think of it as your halftime during a sporting event. This is your time to recharge and refuel. You can grab a snack, maybe even do a quick meditation session, or just zone out. You have earned it. So, why the longer break? Well, it serves as a mental reward for your focused effort and gives your brain a longer period to relax and recover. Also, if you've been working on a challenging task, this longer break can offer the mental space to gain new perspectives and come back to the task with fresh eyes. So there you have it, how to implement the Pomodoro Technique in your life. Now, from choosing the right task and setting up your workspace to mastering the Pomodoro cycles and taking well-deserved breaks, these are your stepping stones to skyrocketing your productivity and well-being. Now, I can't wait to hear how this technique revolutionizes your workday, and trust me, once you get the hang of it, you will wonder how you ever managed without it. All right, my entrepreneurial friend, stick around because we're not done yet. Up next, I will be sharing some advanced tips and common pitfalls to avoid when using the Pomodoro Technique. You won't want to miss it. So if you stuck with me this long, so it is now time to sprinkle a little fairy dust on what we've learned. That's right, we're talking about customizing the Pomodoro Technique to make your own. I mean, why settle for off the rack when you can have tailored, right? So grab your wand, okay, fine, your pen will do, and let's magically adapt this technique to fit you like Cinderella's glass slipper. So first off, let's talk about why customization is key. Here's the deal. We're all unique creatures. We have different energy levels at different times of the day, different attention spans, and let's face it, different types of work to get done. Now, what works like a charm for your best friend or your spouse might not be the best fit for you. And that's absolutely okay. The beauty of the Pomodoro Technique is that it's flexible. It's like a recipe. You can add your own spices, adjust the seasoning, and make it taste just right for you. If you feel the standard 25-minute work and 5-minute break cycle isn't quite clicking, don't sweat it. this isn't a one-size-fits-all caper. It's more like a made-to-measure kind of deal. So let's talk about how you can tailor it to suit your individual needs. Now, I've heard from many of you, and I get it. Sometimes 25 minutes can feel too short or maybe even too long for certain tasks. Well, here's the good news. You can adjust the length of the Pomodoro intervals to better align with your work style or even the specific task at hand. So option 1, if you find that you're in the zone and 25 minutes just cuts you short, try extending the work interval to 30 or 35 minutes. Some people, they even go up to 45 or 50 minutes. Just remember that you also want to adjust your short breaks accordingly. So if you're doing a 45-minute work session, maybe a 10-minute break would serve you better than just 5 minutes. Option 2, on the flip side, if 25 minutes feels too daunting or you're dealing with tasks that require quick bursts of energy, consider shortening the work interval to 15 or 20 minutes. This can work wonders for tasks like answering emails, making quick calls, or any activity that you can accomplish in a short time frame. And maybe a 3 to 4 minute break would suffice in this case. Option 3. You can also play around with the number of cycles before taking a long break. The classic method recommends a longer break after 4 cycles, but hey, maybe you find that you need that longer break after just 3 cycles. Or maybe you're a real go-getter that day and you don't feel the need for a longer break until after 5 or 6 cycles. Here's my advice. Don't be afraid to experiment. Take a week or 2 to test out different intervals and break times. Keep a little journal to jot down what you notice about your energy levels, your focus, and the quality of your work. Then you use those insights to create your customized Pomodoro schedule. So there you have it, my friends. The Pomodoro Technique is not a rigid rulebook. It's more like a friendly guide. And the ultimate goal is to make your workday feel less like a marathon and more like a series of enjoyable sprints, with plenty of time for rest and celebration in between. Now, I can't wait to hear about how you customize the Pomodoro Technique to make it your own. Because remember, the best productivity system is the one that works for you. Okay, stay tuned because coming up next, we'll be wrapping up today's episode with some key takeaways and a little something special you won't want to miss. All right, we're in the final stretch, and this part is like the cherry on top of our Pomodoro Sunday. I'm thrilled you've hung around because now we're diving into the common pitfalls of the Pomodoro Technique and, wait for it, how to avoid them. Yes, we're going full on Sherlock Holmes and we're going to uncover these pitfalls before they become problems. How's that for being proactive? Okay, let's get to it. So first on the list is the ever so annoying distraction. Oh, distractions. We all know them. They're like those uninvited guests at your dinner party who just won't leave. From social media notifications to just quickly checking your email, distractions can derail a Pomodoro faster than you can say Instagram rabbit hole. So here's some strategies to minimize interruptions. First, put your phone on silent or in another room. Seriously, just do it. Your Instagram will still be there 25 minutes later, I promise. Second, use website blockers. There are some amazing tools out there that will block distracting websites during your work intervals. Third, noise canceling headphones. Sometimes it's the environmental noise that's distracting. A good pair of noise canceling headphones can be a game changer. And fourth, inform those around you. So whether you're at home or in a co-working space, let people know you're in a focus session and not to disturb you for the next 25 minutes. Next up, we have overcommitting. You get so pumped up, your enthusiasm level is sky high, and you think, I can do all the things. Hold your horses there, Speedy Gonzalez, because the key to Pomodoro's success is to be realistic about what you actually can accomplish in those 25-minute chunks. So here's how to realistically plan for your tasks for Pomodoro. First, start small. Especially if you're new to Pomodoro, start with smaller tasks to get the hang of it. Second, prioritize. Use a tool like the Eisenhower matrix to figure out what's urgent and important and tackle those tasks first. Third, be flexible. Sometimes things take longer than you think, and it's okay to extend a task to another Pomodoro session. Just don't make it a habit of constantly underestimating your tasks. Lastly, let's talk about skipping breaks. You might think, I'm on a roll, I don't need a break. Oh, but you do. Those breaks are your mini rewards, your mental recess, your reset button. So here's why you shouldn't miss breaks. First, prevent burnout. Constantly powering through your work without a break is a one-way ticket to burnout city. Second, maintain high-quality work. A tired mind is less efficient and effective. The breaks ensure that you're always bringing your A game. Third, boost creativity. Sometimes stepping away from a task for just a few minutes can spark new ideas or solutions that you wouldn't have thought of if you'd just been grinding away nonstop. So skipping breaks might give you the illusion of being more productive in the short term, but it's not sustainable. The quality of your work will suffer and your cognitive abilities will decline. So take those breaks, even if it's just to stretch, hydrate, or take a few deep breaths. Now that was a lot to unpack, but it was so important. Knowing what pitfalls to avoid is half the battle, and now you're armed with the tools to make the Pomodoro Technique work like a charm for you. All right, you productivity wizards, stick around because up next is our final segment where we tie it all together with some key takeaways and action steps. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming up. So you've learned what the Pomodoro Technique is, you've understood the science behind it, and you've even figured out how to customize it just for you. Plus, we've done a deep dive into common pitfalls and how to sidestep them like a pro. So what could possibly be left? Drum roll, please. That's right, we're diving into the tools and apps that can make your Pomodoro journey smooth sailing. Now, if you're ready to put all this knowledge into action, but maybe you're wondering what can help you keep track of those Pomodoros, then this segment is your golden ticket. Now, at its core, the Pomodoro Technique is super simple. You don't need anything fancier than a timer to get started. But come on, we're living in a digital age, and there are some fantastic tools out there designed to help you implement the Pomodoro Technique with ease and flair. First up is Focus Booster. This app is as close to the traditional Pomodoro Technique as you can get, but with a digital twist. It comes with a timer, but it also has some neat features like tracking how many Pomodoro cycles you've completed and even providing reports. You can't escape accountability with this one, and that's a good thing. Next, we have Be Focused. This app is perfect if you want something that you can integrate with your other devices. It's available for iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, and Mac. Now, what's lovely about Be Focused is that it lets you break your tasks into intervals just like traditional Pomodoros, but it's super easy to customize those intervals. So if you're looking for flexibility, this one's a gem. All right, how about adding a little fun into the mix? The Forest app lets you plant a virtual tree when you start a Pomodoro, and your tree grows throughout your work session. But here's the kicker. If you exit out to check social media or some other distraction, your tree withers and dies. Talk about motivation, right? Last but certainly not least, let's talk about Toggl, Toggl. Now, Toggl is generally thought of as a time tracking app, but you can use it to set up Pomodoro intervals as well. Plus, it provides detailed reports and analytics. So if you're into data and love to analyze where your time is going, Toggl is a fantastic option. Now, most of these apps have both free and paid versions. The free versions generally offer the basics, like setting your work and break intervals. The paid versions will throw in some extra bells and whistles like advanced analytics, integration with other tools, and more customization options. So choose based on what you feel you really need. So there you have it, my productivity aficionados. These tools are here to make your Pomodoro journey as seamless as possible. From timers to task trackers to fun little motivators, you've got options and you can pick what resonates with you. All right, so we're going to jump into this final segment where we will share some key takeaways and action steps for you. You're going to walk away from this episode ready to conquer the world, or at least your to-do list, Pomodoro style. So stay with me, we're wrapping this up in style. Now, we have reached the end of this roller coaster of productivity, and I hope that you are leaving this episode pumped up and full of actionable insights. I mean, we've gone through the ins and outs, the ups and downs, and the zigzags of the Pomodoro Technique. It's been quite a ride, hasn't it? So let's take a quick moment to circle back to why we're all so obsessed with this adorable little tomato timer strategy. Yes, that's right. I said tomato. Don't forget the Pomodoro Technique was named after a tomato-shaped kitchen timer. The Pomodoro Technique is more than just a time management tool. It's a lifestyle change. It teaches us to focus intensely, but also to respect our mental and physical boundaries by taking timely breaks. And for us entrepreneurs, it's like a secret weapon. So whether you're a side hustler working on your dream after your 9 to 5, or you're running a 7-figure empire, enhancing productivity is crucial. It's what lets us be present in our business without sacrificing the quality of our personal lives. So here's my call to action for you. Yes, you sitting there nodding your head. Give it a try. Commit to just one day of using the Pomodoro Technique. Pick a project that's been sitting on the back burner or tackle an everyday task that you have been dreading. Go ahead, set that timer for 25 minutes, and then take your well-deserved 5-minute break. And then repeat. Now, once you've taken it for a spin, I want to hear from you. Yes, I really do. So, tag me on Instagram, shoot me an email. Let me know how your first Pomodoro day went. Did it change your game? Was it tough to stick to the timer? Did you have an aha moment? Your experiences, whether they're wins or challenges, are incredibly valuable, not just for you, but for this community that we're building together. And hey, if you've enjoyed this episode, it would mean the world to me if you could leave a review wherever you get your podcast fixed. Your reviews help more entrepreneurs like you discover this resource, and together we can make the hustle a little less overwhelming and a lot more fulfilling. So my friends, remember that in the quest to create a business and a life that you love, sometimes all it takes is 25 focused minutes and a little break to make all the difference. I have to say, I am buzzing with energy after this episode, and I truly hope you are too. But before we close the curtains on this Pomodoro party, I have a few small but impactful asks for you. These little actions make a world of difference to the podcast, and honestly, they're the jet fuel that keeps this show running week after week. So like I said, first, subscribe. First things first, if you've already haven't hit that subscribe button, now is your chance. Subscribing to the Bootstrap Mogul podcast means you'll never miss an episode. It's like having a standing coffee date with me, Andres, and all of our amazing listeners. And who doesn't love a good coffee date, am I right? Second, share the love. If something in this episode struck a chord with you, or you think it could really help someone you know, share it. Send it to a friend, a family member, or even a coworker who you know is also on that grind to optimize their work life. You can share it on social media, through text, or even shout it from the rooftops if that's your style. Third, and this is a big one, if you found value in today's episode, please leave a review. I know it sounds trivial, but those reviews help other aspiring moguls find this podcast. Plus, I absolutely love reading your insights and takeaways. It truly makes my day. All right, so let me give you a little teaser of what's coming up in our next episode. We're going to be diving into the art and science of copywriting hacks. Whether you're writing an email sequence, crafting social media posts, or creating a killer sales page, effective copywriting is the cornerstone. So gear up for an episode that promises to be chock full of tips and strategies that'll make your copy sizzle and convert. And last but by no means last, I messed that up. And last but by no means least, a big heartfelt thank you for tuning in. Your time is precious, and the fact that you chose to spend some of it here with me, learning and growing, well, it is just the cherry on top. So until next time, keep taking those bold steps towards a life and business you've always dreamed of. You've got this. And I'll be right here cheering you on every step of the way.